be able to see comments from people. You see where it says
Looks
comments?
like
You
there's a
just click
space
on
for it
that.
already.
Yep. Oh, okay,
Looks like there's a
perfect.
space.
All right, and it should be active. Okay. I'm just gonna light some sage really quick. How have you been, Todd? It's great to see you.
I'm always expanding and growing. You know, there's gonna be a day where like people like Russell Brand and Joe Rogan and all these Mr. Beast was supposed to come out with me, so I'm working these big angles. When one of these precipitates, you're gonna see me all over the news, like I have been in the past. It's gonna explode, you know.
I can only
So
imagine what would happen if Mr. Beast went out looking for Bigfoot.
oh, he was already supposed to. I just I screwed it up because he only come up for like 2 days, and I told them, I said, can you at least do 4? And you don't, apparently you don't talk to them like that. When they say 2 days, you shut up, and he comes up for 2 days. And I do 7-day expeditions, so I was trying to negotiate. Basically, the producer said, "You're asking me if we can do 4." I said, "Yeah, I mean 2 days. So basically, you guys will come out and go home. It'll go by so fast. It's so superficial. I've got so much to show you guys. Can we at least do 4?" And then he just kind of gave me some weird stuff, and then he didn't talk to me after that. So the guy who set it up, who's their outdoor guy, called me back. He says, "Did you tell them you'd only do 4 days?" No, I said I suggested it. He goes, "Let me tell you something. Getting on the show is worth millions of dollars, you twit." I was like, "Okay." You just do what they say. So next time they call, you just do the 2 freaking days and shut up. And I was like, all right. I'm not a spineless guy, but I would like to have that. And I do think Mr. Beast is a cool kid. He's a pretty impressive dude. So
Well,
I'll do that.
anything that brings attention to the cause, as they say.
Mm-hmm. And I am interested in that. I'll talk about that on the show. Why I do these podcasts, why I'm public, what's my goal, what's my purpose, and it's important on even spiritual levels. It's important.
Indeed. Hello, everyone. You seeing the comments popping up, Todd? Hello, everybody. Good morning. How's it going? You able to see it?
No, I don't. Maybe I'll
Towards the
touch
top
it.
right corner. Click the comments button. Top right corner.
Top right corner. It says you're in the show. Everyone can hear you, and there's a picture of me in the top right corner.
And there should be a thing that says comments.
Nope. It says Todd, and it says you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you.
Oh, are you on your phone?
Yes.
Ah, okay, that's why. All right, I'll read the comments. There's already a bunch of them popping up. Hey, everybody. Chantal says, so excited for this. I've never seen Todd on the podcast. Hi, Todd.
Hello. Thanks for having me today.
Good morning. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Jordan. Hi, Daniel Jackson. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Todd and I go quite far back. We've known each other a few years now. I think it was about 7 years ago when your documentary first came out. In fact, you know what? If you don't mind, can I just share a clip from that really quick? Let's see.
I would love to see that. Am I with or without the beard?
And here we go. There we go. Hang on. Let's see. So if you go, here we go. Hopefully it's going to work now. Amazing.
There's one here. And I can hear one over here. With my last bit of battery power in my camera, I was able to film these incredible images in full HD at 50 times optical zoom. You'll feel the fear.
Nice one. So this is how Todd and I met. I saw that documentary and I was absolutely blown away. I couldn't believe how much effort you put into covering those images. I mean, they're probably the best images that any person has caught of an actual Bigfoot in the wild.
Yeah, Jeff Meldrum said it best. First, he has to say, to cover his own ass, he has to say, if indeed they are real, which they are the greatest collection of evidence of Bigfoot in existence, which is something I've really had to come to terms with. It's one thing to be humble, but just there's like I have no competition. It's not like I want to compete with people, but there's really like, I want people to understand in the history of human civilization and human beings, even with the native people, there's never been a discovery process like a connection to the Sasquatch like is going on now. I literally have taken out dozens of people who have eyewitnessed a Sasquatch. That's in my movie. I take out 2 PhDs. I literally sit down and I go, who's the best in the world? So it was Survivor Man, Jeff Meldrum, and John Benernagel. Jeff Meldrum is a professor from Idaho State University, and John Benernagel is a wildlife biologist PhD with 30 plus years experience in the field. These men went out and eyewitnessed a Sasquatch with me. I did it with Survivor Man. And that's what I continue to do that every year. From June till October, I spend 1 weekend and 1 week out in the wilderness, in the backcountry, hardcore wilderness up in Canada, where you got a beautiful, amazing old school ecology with wolves and bears and mountain lions and moose and elk, and everything is just perfectly in its proper natural state, of course, with Sasquatch there. And every year I have incredible success. I'll take anybody out and show them a Sasquatch. That's what I do. And the cooperation is growing. Now I have wildlife biologists, I have judges, medical doctors, lawyers, all these incredible people working with me. Now I have over 100 people that I've taken out and, had these incredible, built these incredible relationships with. So the discovery, I know it's been going on for a long time and people have a tendency to get frustrated, but don't. The discovery is literally happening. I call it, it's now a de facto discovery, because you need to understand one thing Laura wants to bring up is the in Canada and in the United States too. I was doing this. First, I worked for species protection in Canada, which actually all went through and came through. The only problem is the Canadian CISAWIC, who does the species at risks, they have to have a significant piece of a recently deceased body, and I've not been able to produce that, and I don't know how I ever can, because the Sasquatch, being really advanced hominids, they've been burying their dead for 100,000 years longer than we have. So they have immense reverence and respect for their dead when they pass away, like most species do, but really at another level. So I don't know how to get that, to ask them if I can have a body of your deceased family member, and it just hasn't worked out, right? So that's the reality of it. But and then of course I did the court cases. I started one in California that the lawyer couldn't finish off, and I started one in Canada too. And the whole purpose of that, I need people to understand. I have DNA. I have fingerprint experts that'll testify that these dermal ridges on these tracks are legit. Dr. Jeff Meldrum, whom I showed a Sasquatch to, has had the feet accepted by the scientific community in the zoology bank as a real indigenous morphological foot from a species that currently exists. And then I can get, I don't know, 100 people to show up. Like, I'm talking like the highest level of human beings will show up and say, I have seen a Sasquatch and they're real. Pretty much in every state in the US, I could do this, in every province in Canada. So that I know it's no big deal. Then I got photographs, DNA, and the DNA has been outstanding, because just quickly on the genetic scale, it goes where it's backwards here. So it goes human. So let's say chimpanzees, humans, and then Sasquatch. What happened was people thought that the Sasquatch would be between chimpanzees and humans. They're not. They're actually further down the scale. They're a more advanced hominid than us. So if people accuse me, which is the only way you can get out of not accepting they're real, saying, well, Todd's a hoaxer and he's deceitful and he's lying. I can't mix DNA with an unknown species. Like, people say, oh, you can mix chimpanzee and human DNA and get something in the middle. It's not. It's beyond that. It can't be mixed. That's why geneticists won't talk to me anymore, because my evidence is so beyond any reasonable doubt. And the geneticists that I've worked with are the most conservative wimps I've ever dealt with in any field of science. I think you have to be an extra level of wimp and wuss to be. And I'm saying this because I'm challenging any geneticist to come forward and look at my DNA and go, okay, I'm going to put my reputation on the line and realize this dude is not cooking up DNA in his basement to fool Oxford and Harvard and Princeton. It's not possible. And
Yeah.
that alone is it, the case closed. Why are we having this discussion? Right? So the evidence is so, if you have any respect for a court of law, which I do and most people do, if you met someone who was convicted with DNA, fingerprints, and 100 eyewitnesses that he committed the murder, you go, he deserves to go to jail. And I have more than that with Sasquatch. I'm talking the most elite level PhDs will show up and talk about the morphology of the foot and the reality of it. Fingerprint experts, the best in the world, will show up and go, these are not only clearly dermal ridges that are entirely organic, but they're actually a species specific that we have not seen. And he'll show you orangutans, gorillas, and humans, and show you how this dermal ridge pattern is from a new species. Like all this evidence, and people are still, doubting. Dude comes back with, you see that little Sasquatch in there? And by the way, if any of you send me an email to discoveringbigfoot@gmail.com, I'll give you a copy of this photograph like that.
I would love that, Todd. I want one. That's my favorite photo that you've ever taken. She's just beautiful. It's a young female.
She is a she. You're right. Here, like I have. There's actually a 5 of her. This one's not framed. Where I do this right. There she is. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous?
Wow.
That's
her eyes.
And people on my expeditions now have seen her. They go, that's that Sasquatch you told me. Yeah, it's Jane. Oh my God, I came on expedition, and it's like people are surprised. I'm seeing the Sasquatch that you've been filming. Well, but that's why I take you here. It's just, it's a shock to the system to see her in real life because she comes around. She's actually gotten to a level now where she's like a shamaness. She is absolutely what a fantastic spiritual being she is. She is amazing. She calls to people to come and see her. So what literally happens, so I take about 33 people a year out on 11 expeditions, so 3 people per expedition. And we go out in the wilderness, and what happens is those people she'll find them, like just out in the world, she'll remote speak to them, and they'll watch my documentary, and then they'll text me or email me, or something will happen just at the right time where I wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh, I gotta check my email, and I'll groggy, and then I check it, and this person's like, oh, I've been having these dreams and stuff. And then they come on expedition and they go out and they literally, like, Laura, you wouldn't believe this happens most of the time now. People will drive out, people have never even been to Canada. I'll drive out, suddenly they go, stop the truck. And they've never been here before. And they go, that's a tree break. They did that for me. And I go, what? And they go out and they start talking about it. There's a track. And then they'll go something like, let's go over the hill over here. I go, you've never been here. You don't even know it's over the hill. How'd you even know there was a hill there? And they go, there's more over the hill, and there's going to be this and a rock stack. And we go there, there's a rock stack, all this stuff. They've been remote speaking in their dreams with her. And then there she is. She just walked by. I can't believe. I can't believe you did all this stuff. So
you called her. I should say she called you.
Yeah, it happens all the time. So I literally end up being this conduit for the Sasquatch to speak to people they call lights. Most people aren't aware of this, but the definition of human, hue is Latin for light, and obviously man is to manifest. So we are a manifestation of light when we say we are humans. And the Sasquatch identify humans that are flowing and open and honest and truthful as bright lights, people that are happy and spiritual and connected and have good lives. And then there are people that are dark and dim, and we know who those people are, right? So they can communicate with lights, and they can't really get to the dark people. And the reason they want me to go public and talk like this is they want to have some people that are kind of gray, they want to light them up, and they want me to be talking about this truth. And the more of us that can see this truth, the faster this discovery process can happen. And they want the whole, in fact, there's 2 groups of Sasquatch. There's the group that hate human beings and want nothing to do with us, to hope we die as a species, right? let's be honest, we're not so great, we do some bad stuff. It's like vaxxers and anti-vaxxers, Republicans and Democrats, right? But then there's the other half that are praying for us and working spiritually for us to grow and expand, because they know that. So the secret with Sasquatch, the reason we have not truly finished the discovery process, is their language is telepathy. If you are not on board with the reality of telepathy, you need to get your stuff together. Meditate, find a mentor, The evidence is so beyond any reasonable doubt that telepathy is legit and real. And these beings have probably been doing it for 100,000 years. And that's their language. That's how they communicate. And that's what I teach my expeditioners is how to communicate with telepathy. And the message about that is, once you're telepathic, you can't lie anymore. There's no more deceit. There's no more deception. There's so many layers to this too, where you get precognition. You can see little bits in the future. You can talk back to yourself in the past. So there's all these levels of absolute brilliance that changes everything. Like, so they actually made a movie like Minority Report with Tom Cruise. That was about psychics who were seeing that stuff is real. The Sasquatch have been doing this for 100,000 years. So when humanity ascends to that level, we don't need police anymore, lawyers, courts, like we don't need any of that stuff. And that old attitude of narcissistic, cutthroat, backstabbing, bad person that there really was a place for, it goes away. Those people become the low end of the chain, and the telepaths who can feel into everything and live these brilliant, bright lives and communicate and are honest and truthful, they're going to run everything. And if you're not on board with that, you're going to get left behind. And that's what the Sasquatch teach. And then we've also learned that, like, if people that the great men of history, religious history, Muhammad, Buddha, Jesus, in their teachings, they all went to nature to expand and blow up, to find out they were deities. They all did this. Kennedy Jr. is talking about that. He's the one that inspired me about that. Like, people are like, why do we have to worry about nature? We're learning that grounding is important. We're learning that when you're around trees and the energy that the plants and the flowers give you, you just vibe back to life. So now the other message is be organic, get back to plants, get back to nature, hike around, get some fresh air. There's so much going on out in nature that we've been removed from. We've been so domesticated that it's severely damaged us. And you get this crazy stuff that's going on where all this hatred and mistrust and, I don't want to get into the politics of things, but people are aware of whatever side you're on, the extreme discrepancies and hatred going on amongst people. And it's not good because we're eating boxed food, because we're disconnected to nature, and we're going literally insane. Like, people are losing it and they don't even know it. You're walking around in California on cement and buildings and glass, and there's no life there, and it kills you inside. You cannot, I don't care how wonderful you are, you cannot thrive in that environment. And all this stuff is what Sasquatch teaches. So it's such an important message, because we will literally, as human beings, this is going to be the biggest change we've ever gone through. We're literally like, remember before we were telepathic, and then when we just little things we do, little increments we make, but literally telepathy will take us up higher than we've ever been before, and it'll just that's what I want. That's what I fight for. It's why I wake up early and I stay up late working, because I know about this truth. I've seen the telepathy these beings are capable of. I know it and I see it and I research it all the time. And I see that they want that for us. And they're the best teachers for it. I know there are people that are out there that are really good teachers. I've studied and worked with a lot of different amazing people. Jose Silva is the one I kind of recommend the most. He really gets you into it in a beautiful way. He's amazing. There's so many teachers. Find someone that you gravitate towards. Meditate, get connected to nature, your spirituality. Undomesticate yourself as best you can. Eat organic.
Undomesticate yourself. That's a great one.
You know what it is? It's domestication syndrome. These kids that stare at their phones all day and walk around like drones, it's killing them, and they don't even know it. And it's this evil dopamine hit and short videos and have no attention span. There's no delayed gratification, which makes any human being just so amazing. When you spend time and effort and you sculpt something and it takes months and you finish it, it's beautiful. You can do that with yourself, right? With your memory, with your learning process, working out, staying fit, eating healthy. These are delayed gratifications, and that's what builds integrity in a human being. And they're effing taking it away from us, and it pisses me off. It makes me angry. Right?
You're doing such a great job of bringing attention to it, though, Todd, really. And I think that a lot of us are starting to tune into those things. One of my favorite stories.
Sasquatch is about this.
There was this anthropologist that came, I believe it was the Khoisan people, but he went and spoke with them, and they were telling him about how they could hear the stars. And he's like, what are you talking about? And they didn't believe him. They thought he was joking that he couldn't hear the stars. And when he explained to them, no, I can't hear what you can hear, they actually felt that was the saddest thing they'd ever heard.
Yeah.
That you couldn't hear the stars that were so natural to them. We lose that ability to connect and to be in tune with nature and the cosmos. And so Sasquatches, they are the peak of that. They are as tuned in really as you can get to nature.
Yes. Like we talk about grounding, walk around barefoot for an hour every day. Doctors are prescribing this to people, and it helps. It works. Earthing is this beautiful thing where you can get this stuff and ground. The Sasquatch never stopped earthing. Never. I remember I saw a Sasquatch once. There was a biking trail. It was pretty wide. It was, let's say, about 5 yards across. It was like a 2-lane biking trail. And I saw the Sasquatch come up out of it's over in the wilderness. I see the Sasquatch come up. He's trying to put his foot on the asphalt, and he's shuddering and he's doing all this stuff. He's like, he literally it was like his body was rejecting even touching the asphalt and taking one step on it. And finally, after minutes of watching him do this, I don't know what the hell his problem is. I just walk, just go. He takes a couple steps back and he jumps over the whole thing like it was some sort of crocodile pit. It's just asphalt. But he wouldn't even take a step onto that deadness that we live on. We not only live on that, we wear shoes that separate us. Like there's just no connection at all. And it's so freaking bad. And all the research shows this, getting back to your natural stuff, having long hair, even body hair, shave it all. That's not good and healthy for us. Like there's so many things. And then the beauty of masculinity and femininity. It's so beautiful. And we need to protect that. We need to nurture that, especially, in these last decades, we've really damaged, especially masculinity, called it toxic, thrown all the men in jail. And it's not good nature. It's really, really damaging the feminine and the masculine, because I can see too, femininity really flourishes around great masculinity when they're protected and provided for. And these are literally things that I see with the Sasquatch, with the females, with the males, the ultimate.
They have a role that they take, don't they? They have their day watchers where they, and then you also have the big males that are very protective over their families.
Yep. And what I see now, so originally, it's when I'm doing the theory, which I really enjoy. Anthropologically, I study gorillas seem to be the closest, and then human beings. And originally, I thought it was a main dominant male that had a harem of females, just like gorillas. And it's definitely not. I have evidence to disassociate that. What there is there's a tribal chief, and then he's got his family, and then there are other family groups, because I couldn't figure out why all these big males were following the dominant tribal chief around. It didn't make sense to me. And then I realized they're monogamous couples. It's very advanced in I think it's of the highest level for a male to be with his female, and then to have their offspring, and to have that, the masculine leader, the feminine, and all that power that goes in the group. And then with the tribal leader, it's really making sense to me now.
I'm not surprised that they have like tribal groups, and that they would be kind of like living in a way that like the indigenous people did, because much of what we learned, I believe, as an indigenous groups probably learned it also from the beings that were already here when we arrived.
And I actually now have significant evidence to substantiate that truth, that literally, like hunting techniques, even just like the powwows that the natives have, the Sasquatch do that. And they must have taught that to the natives. Like, we just see all these reflections, and to think, I'm telling you, I am I don't know anybody in the past 5 years now, after my elders and my Cree teachers passed away. There's really nobody that knows the ecology, that spent thousands of days in the backcountry like I have. And I'm at this high elite level of wilderness tracker, guide, like all the time I spend out there, so deeply immersed in it. And I couldn't even come close to these Sasquatch with what they know, with their abilities, with their talents. Like, they are literally, the reason I'm telling this to people is I want them to understand, like, I've worked with rangers, SEALs, Apache trackers, like legendary human beings. Survivor Man has trained me, wildlife biologist, like all these levels. And none of us, if we ever decided to compete and verse the Sasquatch, the only time we'd ever think we were ahead is because we were so far behind. Like, And so you just don't compete with them. It's literally like it's like putting a 5-year-old in the ring with Mike Tyson. It's not going to be competition at all.
It's a
There's
great,
nothing.
great
You
analogy.
know, they literally know your intent as you're driving up. They know your intent as you're planning. We're going to get these Sasquatch. You could be in the city planning it, and they're in your head going, "We know you're doing this. Like, who do you think you're taking on here?" You know. So they're like everything. There are levels, and these guys, literally, what I teach people is if you can reach up to the highest level of your telepathy, of your spirituality, of your greatness, and they can reach down to the absolute lowest level of their communication, you'll connect. But they have to reach down, and you have to reach up as high as you can, ascend that level. And that's literally what my expeditions are. We just take people out, connect them to nature, do Cree rituals with them, connect them to the land, make them feel like they're a part of it, to get away from that domestication, separate, this is nature and I'm different from that. Once they branch off into that, the best way to meet a Sasquatch is to become a really good student, because when the student is ready, the master will appear. And one thing about Sasquatch, I will tell you, is they love nature. Oh my God. Like they love the plants, they love the animals, they love being wild and free. Like Americans think they're free. Oh, America, you're free. I've gone to big conferences and I've talked to these big groups of people and I go, yeah, you guys are free. Yeah, yeah. You don't know shit about freedom. You guys are so domesticated. It's pathetic. I'm going to introduce you to a real being that's free, right? These guys over here. And when I explain, first I piss them off. They go, "What the hell are you talking about?" Go, "Really? Like when you wear shoes, you're domesticated. That when you have to have your glasses and your phone, you're domesticated. Like these guys are naked. They have no possessions. They need nothing. They roll out from under a tree in the morning and look at me while I clean up and brush my teeth and I have to brush my teeth because I eat so much damn sugar. They don't brush their teeth. They don't have cavities. They don't know what the hell that is. They don't have any sugar in their environment. They eat pure, good, amazing, clean food. I take my vitamins. They don't need that. Their water is structured and mineralized right off the glacier. I have to put shoes on. I have to put a coat on. They have body hair and structure. Like you can't even imagine what that feels like. They can run down a deer and break its neck and eat it. And the closeness you'll get to the reality of what you are and to your wildness, like pay taxes. They, they, they don't own land. Why would you own land? You don't own the land. They don't think like this. And I couldn't even imagine, Laura. Can you imagine what that would feel like? Like to behold it to nothing. You can go anywhere, anytime. You don't have any bills to pay. Nothing's due. You just live. You
I
wake
try
up
to
and you go, I'm
imagine
gonna.
this all the time, actually. I'm trying to manifest
Yeah.
that.
It's unreal. It's just unreal. And they want us to stop going the other way and start coming back, because we are technologically advanced, and I can't live naked out in the wilderness. I'll die. But we have to stop leaving nature and start getting back to it. And they're begging us to do that. That's why when people go out into the wilderness and they start realizing, like, I want this and I love this and I'm passionate about it, they appear and they'll show you and they'll teach you. They'll feel your true yearning and desire and your connection. And like anything, like when you love something, you just want to give it away and teach it. If you're really truly passionate about it, and you come in and you love nature and you want to change and you want to grow, they're going to show you the way. And better than anybody, I don't even you want to get to Sasquatch, you get to them and they're going to teach you and ascend to you, because they know you way better than any human being ever could. No psychology, no breakdown, no scannings of you. They're going to read you. In fact, what most people are starting to understand, like my lady Ashley, is they've been watching her whole life. When you're really a light, you're born that way. They see you and they recognize you, and they want to get to you as soon as possible. But they also know that people, if this 9-foot tall, 900-pound Sasquatch walks out in front of a little girl who knows nothing about it, she's going to go, ah! And nobody wants to, they look at this person that they really enjoy and appreciate, but they also know if they expose themselves, that person would probably have an aneurysm because they're so big.
I don't know.
monstrous
I saw
looking.
Harry and the Hendersons as a kid, and I wanted to meet Harry so bad. Do you remember Harry and the Hendersons? I loved
great
that
show.
movie as a kid.
Me too. That's such an excellent Sasquatch movie. They're not
That's a
vegetarians.
perfect example of a Sasquatch, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But even though obviously, they kind of moved him into the house and everything, he wouldn't have wanted that. He would have been like, "No, I'll take the backyard, thanks."
Yeah. But even walking around on the floors and stuff, there's it's a good show, and it's nice and it's lighthearted. But there's another thing too, is Sasquatch is in your head. Like they can read your thought, read your minds, like in ways that I just can't even, like they'll see deep, like as an example. So I'm out with Kyle. He's probably going to start doing his own expeditions. And so he's got an older sister that I don't even know about, and they don't talk anymore. There's a pain in his heart about it. So an older sister, younger brother Sasquatch come around, and they're trying to talk to him. He doesn't get it. So they're speaking to me to speak to him. And I go, that day you were at that blue playground, and then you and your sister, oh my God, you guys don't talk anymore. I go, Kyle, I didn't know you had a sister. He goes, yeah, I didn't tell you. How did you know? I go, they know, they're reading this. And right now, your sister misses you, and she wants you back in her life, and you feel guilty about it too. And he goes, yeah, he gets a little teary-eyed, right? And I'm like, what's happening here? Like, can you imagine that kind of therapy? They're going back into deep inside of him. And of course, right after the expedition, he called her. She goes, man, Kyle, I've been really missing you this week, and he goes, I know. Right? Like, this is,
Amazing.
if we could have therapists, like if we could teach this stuff, we can go back into deep historical records of human beings into ourselves and heal these pains that we just don't understand, because they're that good, they're that amazing. That's why when people ask you, how come we haven't found a body? Because they're a more advanced species, because they are literally 100,000 years ahead of us in mind speak and telepathy and understanding. Like, I can't even talk about half the stuff I've experienced. I'm still theorizing and trying to understand it myself. Quantum physics is coming on board. Like, that's the other thing that they're really excited about, is these quantum physicists are theorizing some awesome stuff, and they're actually having trouble introducing it to society, because the things we are capable of,
They're
we
just
cannot
like,
exist in
nobody's
a
gonna believe
reality.
this.
Yeah, but they're slowly introducing it. So I sit down with these quantum physicists and I go, Sasquatch do this and this. Is that possible? They go, mm-hmm. I go, what do you mean? Mm-hmm. They go, oh yeah, that's like 30-year-old theory. Like, as an example, they can, the tree breaks that they do, there is no way in our physical world. So you have a tree, let's say it's 6 inches, and they make a kind of a very clean break, snaps clean. It's actually not possible to do that. Yeah, because what'll happen is, so I've had structural engineers come out and all these guys that build these hydraulic machines, and they go, literally, to do that, Todd, the problem is you would crush, to grab it and squeeze it like that, you'd crush the tree above and below, and then you would break it. So there'd be marks, like heavy marks above and below. It's not possible. So how are they doing it? And the answer is they're manipulating frequency. So they're softening the tree. And I actually have evidence of that, because so the pine trees that I work with, they're not ductile. They're very brittle when they break. They have no bendability. They snap right away. A young Sasquatch went to a thick tree and he over frequencied it. So what happened was, instead of breaking, it looks like a straw bent. It's not possible. It's literally that little dude softened it too much. And then when it came back in, it looks like a straw bending. You know what I mean? Like, they know what a straw bends, and it didn't break clean. And I have pictures of that. I have a physicist that came out and says, yeah, this, you can actually look at where the break is, where the bend is now, and you can see evidence of frequency manipulation. Because when you manipulate a frequency, afterwards there's a residue of it. So the quantum physicists are theoretically aware of what the Sasquatch are capable of. So all these things in reality are coming together at this beautiful time in human history.
You
And
want to hear
I'm
something
very
crazy?
excited
This
about it.
is how crop circles form too. This is why I couldn't wait to tell you this. This is exactly, I studied crop circles for 3 years in the UK.
Mhm.
And that's exactly how crop circles are formed. They're by the frequency. It bends, it doesn't break. And so when you affect that certain part of the stem, it's like a very hot, very cold, very high frequency will bend it. And it doesn't break. In fact, it goes back up eventually, because it's not like a snap. So it's very interesting that they are also able to bend things the exact same way that the galactics do when they're trying to leave messages.
Well, these are universal truths, like mathematical realities. I don't care how woke you get, 2 + 2 is 4, and it will always be 4. And don't tell me it's not. That's actually the universal language. And when you could start upping your frequency, see, we use language to speak. The Sasquatch don't speak like that. It's through telepathy. It's just beautiful, pure way to speak. Just as an example, like, watch this. When I say to you, hey, Laura, don't think blue. First thing that comes to mind, blue, right? You can't not think it. So in telepathy, what's so pure about it is you can't say what not to think. You have to say what you want. And then, so in telepathy and mind speak, if I sent you a picture of my daughter, and it's not a picture, it's a video. So you see my daughter, she's eating breakfast. So I send you that picture and you perceive this little girl who's eating breakfast, but then I attach an emotion to it. And you feel, oh, he loves her, he protects her, and you feel that fatherly figure to his daughter. So through the emotion that I connect to this video that I sent you, you deduce through mind speak, that's your daughter. And oh man, he loves his daughter. And can you imagine to be able to immediately when you meet somebody, okay, I meet you. Oh, this man loves his daughter. He's crazy about his son. Like you could have this conversation in a matter of a minute, and there's no, can I say bullshit? Because I just did.
Yeah.
There's just
all
no
means.
bullshit anymore. How do you feel? How do you feel about your mother? These guys, I can't stand my mom. I don't like my kids. And you're just gonna kind of like boom, you're gonna bounce right off of that, right? Like wow, you are not good. And that's fine that you exist like that, but that's not gonna bump into my reality because people that don't have a respect, just as an example, right? So people of like minds, like misery loves company. The miserable people will all hang out together and and all the people that are positive and connected, they're actually, Laura, the good people are actually going to run things. And it's a mathematical truth that I've shown, I can prove through mathematics, where it's like 2 + 2 is 4. I can show you on paper, and I do this, where the truth is people that are telepathic, loving, powerful, caring, and honest, they're going to run things. And to know that should bring everybody more than hope. These are mathematical truths. You shake up the milk container and the cream will rise to the top. It's a fact. There's no denying it. And I know people can get frustrated because of all the crap that can go on in the world. It gets very, very frustrating. But when you know the math is going to work out, forget emotion, forget how you feel. These are logical truths that people that are loving, honest, truthful. So those of you who feel that way, you're going to run things and have faith in it. And again, I should be teaching this mathematical equation. It's very, very simple because it really, like my son, he's 16 now. About 2 years ago, he was feeling that. Man, there's a lot of negativity, a lot of hatred. Like he's white, and he was in an area where he's like a major minority. He was getting major racism, called a colonialness. You people are slave. He's a Canadian. He's never enslaved anybody. But then I sat down with him and I showed him that math, and it just changed his whole life. He walked around knowing, hey, I can have a family. I can have good knowing of the future. Screw hope, because this mathematical truth will eventually come out. That's why casinos exist. The math is all those big bright lights and everything, you're going to lose, right? The odds are in their favor. And the more you play, the more you will lose. And that's this game that we play. The more that we play and get out there in reality, the more that honest, truthful, integrity people will run things and take it over. And telepathy speeds that process up. And Sasquatch teach that.
Beautifully said, Todd. And, I feel that many of us are still trying to learn who we are, and coming back to our roots is one of the best ways. We're starting over from scratch, so to speak, because things have gotten way, way lost and out of control. And so being able to do this with children, especially helping them to connect and to have that level of introspection, very powerful.
It's almost like don't indoctrinate them. Just let them
Getting
be.
them off the tablets is hard enough as it is. Getting them off the technology, getting them out in nature these days is a challenge in itself.
Yeah,
so,
it sucks because the competition for negativity is so high.
But I do want to ask, for example, just in case somebody listening would like to come out with you, me included, someday, would like to come out.
Laura, you pissed me off, Laura. You should have been on an expedition already. I don't know what the hell you're waiting for.
I'm
so
my
out
website,
of
shape, Todd. This is the only thing.
That has nothing to do with it. I take now about it's been about 4 years. I can take anybody out in any fitness level. I group people based on their fitness levels. And I also, though, I'm not going to be nice. Like because the Sasquatch aren't. They live and die based on Darwinism. Only the strong survive. So if you come out there and you're eating jujubes and drinking Coke and Doritos, you're literally toxic. And you cannot be spiritually well. You can't be mentally well if you're not eating good, healthy foods. I've literally seen the Sasquatch because they'll smell you. You understand? Like this is primordial stuff. You'll pee somewhere and they'll walk within 20 feet of your pee and go, "Why is he doing that?" And they'll just run. I've seen it. Boom, boom. What's happening? The Sasquatch just smelled your pee and he's running. You can't be eating jujubes, Doritos, and drinking freaking Coke. So poison. It's hilarious. But they judge you based on these deep, important things that we just, oh, you know what? I don't care. You know what? If somebody really cares about you, and I care about my expeditioners, all the people that come out with me, and I am hard on them, I will hold them to weight loss if they need it. I will hold them to increase their fit. I don't actually really believe in weight loss. I see that I've been a personal trainer. If you just get fit and you get healthy, you'll do great. I have a guy who looks a little chubby.
That's
His
what I'm
name's
doing
Logan.
right now. So I should be
Yeah,
good.
just
All
get
right.
fit. Eat good food, drink good water, get fitness, get some damn exercise, ground, meditate, get yourself organized, and you'll just flow into it. I know dudes who look
You've
overweight,
given
they're
me
just
something to
amazing.
work towards. Now I have a goal. It's,
Mhm.
like, all right, let's do this, Todd.
Yeah.
Because I've been telling Todd for 5 years that I'm going to come out with him into the bush.
Mhm.
So let's do it.
And,
All right.
and
Get a manifest.
my expeditions are serious. Like people, you can't. There are grizzly bears. We bump into them. There are black bears. There are wolves, packs of wolves. I have rules out there. And but on the other side of it, to be honest too, I've been doing expeditions now since like 2013, so over a decade. I've had 0 injuries. 0 people have been harmed by any animals. No one obviously don't get lost or avalanches. Like I literally have 0 injuries, and I've taken out some twits. Like I have to go out with those film crews sometimes and do TV shows, and those guys are dumb as a sack of hammers and ignorant, stupid, and they don't listen. And the fact that I've
All
kept
right.
those
Well, that
meatheads
gives me
safe,
confidence to hear that. Thank
yeah.
you, Todd.
Well, I keep people safe. I keep people really safe, and you will.
I grew up in a farm. I should be okay to a degree. I'm not like a total city slicker.
Well, what's super exciting, what's so exciting is, so Laura, I'm gonna, like when you come on an expedition, I'm gonna talk to you. It's very personal. Once the business, the contracts are all done, it becomes so personal. That's what telepathy is all about. And I'm gonna tell you all about me and all about my life, and I'm gonna hope that reflects. And when it does, you're gonna come out at the highest level. Let's say you're capable of a 9. What happens with every single human being that comes out with me is they go home a 14. That they break through a layer they didn't know they were capable of. The only place you can do that is out in nature. And hopefully you go home, you can maintain at least a 13 or a 12. And then you come back next year. Now your 12 is now a 10. And then you'll come back and the teachers will get to you and nature will get to you and you'll up level beyond anything you ever thought capable. Like, just as an example, I had this one gentleman, his wife was so against it. You're not going out to Bigfoot. Bigfoot? Spend all this money and do this, just a waste of time. So about 2 years it took him to convince her. She just kind of let it go. I guarantee this is stupid. So he does an expedition with me. Listen to this. This happens to everybody. She calls me back 3 months later, teary-eyed, and says, my husband is a better husband. He's a better father. He's a better employee. He's a better man. I don't care about Bigfoot. My husband is coming out with you every year. I don't know what you guys did.
I'm sending him
Please
out.
do it again. Right? Like for God's sake. And things she's not telling me. The sex is better. I know she didn't say that, but the sexuality goes up, the mentality, the love, the connectivity. Like when especially when she said, he's like a better father to his children. Do you know what that means to me, sir? I'm like, yes, ma'am, I do. Like I get it. And I'm getting used to that now because it's powerful to be able to change people's lives like that. And I just want to get it out of your head. Everybody who's listening, this is not about discovering a new primate. It is, they live here in North America with us, and we are unaware of them. We're not able to find and get to these beings because they're so freaking advanced. They're so up leveled. The only way you can reach them is to up level yourself, to come out at the highest level of what you're capable of and reach up to the greatest height you're capable of, and they'll get you. They'll be able to connect to you. And that's what's such a miracle about this, and why this discovery will change humanity forever. What these guys can teach, like Jose Silva and Jordan Peterson, all these great men that are teaching all these incredible, different, amazing things on different levels. You can't touch. They're not going to take you to nature. They're not gonna show you your wildness, where your real freedom lies, guys. You cannot. Only a wild thing is free, and you got to look at yourself. Are you wild? And you're not. But what can you do to get that back, to reconnect to your wildness? This is how I hit everybody, is if you're not wild, you're not free. Are you wild? And you're literally like a domesticated pig. You're that white pig in a little cell in your condominium, eating at the trough every day and doing exactly what you're told. It's a funny analogy, But those wild pigs that get out there that are feral, they're amazing. They're survivors, they're thrivers,
I've
they're
seen a
foraging,
wild
they're
pig that
living.
they turn into boars within like a year or two. Their
They're
hair gets
tough.
all bristly. They get these tusks. They look like
We can't,
completely different.
yeah, we can't do that though. We can't do that anymore. We're so freaking domesticated. It's despicable. But on a certain level, on a spiritual way, in a connective way, we can, we can work towards that greatness. And that's a great analogy though, is with pigs, as you want to call them, the boars and the sows.
We
It's
are kind of long pigs, as they call it. So,
and some of these people that live in the cities are, we know this, and let's be transparent, are beyond saving. You get to a point where you're just so much a zombie and you're creating baby zombies. And it's really what the system wants, is they want these slaves. They found a way to enslave you with money, right? I mean, we all
yeah,
have
they
this
did.
huge debt we owe. They're charging compound interest on it. You're a slave to money. Your child will be born in hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and it'll never stop. You'll go create money, and it's just more debt and more taxes. And we have to break that, because we're doing it to ourselves. We're creating this reality. And Sasquatch, they see it in the purest way, in the most beautiful way. They literally look at the world in this telepathic way. They see light and dark and all these forces at odds. They could literally, like during COVID, they could see all these light people going dark and becoming unhappy. And they were so concerned. They kept talking like, what's going on? They don't understand COVID and the horse crap that happened with that. But they understand the light people, and it scared them. Like, they were terrified. Like, what can we do? We've got to make a change, Todd. And then they push back on me. I'm not doing enough. I have to up level harder. Like, it's a big responsibility to me to grow and change and expand. And man, this is the hardest thing I've ever do. I've been a professional athlete. I've worked at the highest level of paramedic and all these beautiful industries I've been in. I always excelled really well. Inner work. Oh man, it's tough. And some
It
people are
is.
so good at it naturally. Like Laura, you have such a fluidity, such an organicness with your inner work. You do so well. Um,
Thank you.
but it's so hard. You can't come into this thing. Maybe it's hard, easy for other people. I don't know. It's been the most difficult thing I've ever had to do, to come to
We're all
terms
a
with
work
who
in
I am.
progress, but I will say that I don't smell like Dorito and Coke, so I got something going for me. That which is good. I'm already eating pretty natural, so all right, I'm doing pretty good so far.
That matters. Really matters.
It does. It really does. We have some great questions popping up. I want to take some questions for now.
Mhm.
Let's see. Somebody asked, do they live in all woods?
Yes.
How common are they in woods? Yes, even down
Oh,
here
in
in the United
Allwood?
States.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I see what they mean. Like in all wilderness areas, probably not. They can get to you. They can get anywhere. Like I've seen them. There was a lady named Claudia Ackley who recently passed away, who was such a light, and she lived in the cities. And man, the Sasquatch got in there. They found a way to get into through a corridor in Los Angeles over by Big Bear. They got into this corridor and they got to her. So they're physically got to her, where she had a sighting and an interaction with the Sasquatch and its offspring, changed her life. And yeah, they can get to you, but I think it's just they'll gravitate towards better wilderness, better nature all the time, right?
Yeah.
But what kind of a theory I like to hold to is, generally where there can be black bears, there can be Sasquatch. Black bears are incredible survivors and good nature. But then again, even so, I was in Alabama in the Talladega Forest by
Yeah.
Birmingham, and there's Sasquatch. There's no black bears there at all. So I guess it even goes beyond that. You just
Well, somebody did
yeah,
just ask about skunk apes, and those are
mm,
Florida Bigfoots, yeah?
yeah,
The skunk
absolutely.
apes
Yeah.
are the ones that live down in like the swampy areas. They're different though than the ones you would find in Canada by you.
I don't really think so. I think they're just different in the fact that survival methods would be different. Like you have deer in Florida, they look like
One's
big dogs to
sweatier,
us.
one yeah, yes, being
Yeah.
down in Florida.
Yeah. So and the skunk ape thing, see, that comes about because often a Sasquatch, like a male, will go out and be territorial, be scrappy, looking for a female. Those are the ones we'll see the most, like rutting bucks. And they will be odorous because that's how they'll compete and put their scent out there and attract females, right? So the Sasquatch don't go around stinking like that. Neither does a deer, neither does any animal. You don't. It's just those are the ones we're most likely to see, if that makes sense, when they're out there kicking ass in the rut and being all full of testosterone and want to, show how amazing they are, and they'll stand off and be brave against people. But I have rarely ever had an encounter actually like 3 times in my life where I've actually smelled them, where they're giving me that odor. And in those occasions, they were upset with me. So a gorilla is a good example. When it gets upset with you, you can literally see pores open. Like they'll just
I
open
would
right
say
up and little bits
elephants
of
too.
urine.
They go into musk, and whenever you see it looks like an
Yeah,
elephant is crying, run away. You
yeah,
know you
yeah.
want you don't want to be
They're
around a
pissed.
musky elephant.
Yeah, and they
So,
want you to smell them. They'll take the wind gauge, and so they want to be smelled. So that's what I tell people. Hey, I smelled a Sasquatch. Well, you should be concerned because he damn well wanted you to smell him, and he's pissed off at you. It's not an accident. These species, like all animals, including these incredible beings, they live and die by the wind gauge. Like it's first nature. Where's the wind blowing? What direction is it shifting? How is the sun rise? All these things to them, it's first nature. Things that are completely alien to us, they live and die by those truths. So
yeah.
so smell is to them so free. The other thing they expect you to smell is look how healthy and strong I am, right? Look at how powerful we get, like, oh, it's just a stink, but it's not actually. It's a powerful indicator of even Laura, understand this. This I'll do this quickly because this is brilliant. This is so amazing. The scent particles that dogs can smell. This is not magic. A dog's following a trackway because of scent particles. Sasquatch can actually feel the energy of those particles. So they can track like a dog does with smell. I was like, how are they tracking over rocks? And they'd always use their left hand, and I'd see them sweeping it back and forth. And I saw a native man do it. He's telling me I'm following the scent particles, but there's another level to it as well. Those scent particles contain the energy that you have at the time. And trackers, dog trackers and hound dog trackers know this because so the dogs will come out and they pick up the scent of the fox. Let's say the fox is 2 miles away when he hears the hound dogs. So the hound dogs go woo, 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 woo. When they pick up the scent of the fox when it's terrified and running from the hound dogs, then they go yeep, yeep, yeep. They get twice as loud. It's not because it smells different. They can feel the energy in those scent particles. That's the
Wow.
layers you're dealing with these beings. So when you're smelling him, you pick up that scent, he expects that you can actually feel his energy. We can't because we're literally blind that way. But other beings are capable of feeling like he's angry, he's hostile. And actually the scent will give you a clear picture. When those particles hit you, you'll go, oh, I'm on his territory and he doesn't want me to go over there. That's how deeply animals can pick up with these particles. The feelings and the telepathy that's left in these particles exists. And these are the layers that are just like, you guys got to understand, we are so freaking
I would
far
say leave it
behind
to
this,
science to understand the pheromone aspect, but not the vibrational aspect.
right? Which is
Because
the most important thing. And actually, I know
Mhm.
people that are getting this, that are feeling these things, that are understanding that. So and you could, gosh, it's just like, picking up even women around other women, the way their cycles will change together. But now they're seeing attitudes change, happiness change, like the scent particles that are flowing from one woman to another. It's way beyond hormonal. It's very deep. It's very enriching to them, or damaging to them, based on the negativity or positivity that's coming through those particles. So that's why we like to smell flowers, because flowers
Yeah.
are just like, I'm a beautiful flower, I'm meant to shine. And when you smell me, you're just going to be happy. And you get happy. You smell them. Why do you feel happy? Because it's a beautiful living organism, and its only purpose is to be beautiful. And beautiful means more than just the beauty of it. It's a deep spiritual understanding. It's thrived in this harsh environment often. And it wants to make you smile. It wants to make you feel that
That's why I've got
positivity.
the daffodils back there. They actually help with my seasonal affective disorder. I feel really down during
Right?
the winter, and I
Right.
miss the sun a lot, and that actually helps more than a light does. Just having
Did you
flowers
hear
around.
what you just said? It literally lips. So those beautiful flowers, though, I'm a beautiful flower. I'm gonna make you happy, and
Yeah,
it's
they
working.
totally do. They perk up the whole room, don't they?
It
So,
does. It does. It's amazing. Very, very feminine of you to do that too, by the way, and to embrace that side of your femininity. It's
I
so beautiful.
feel
There's
better
so
with
much going on,
flowers
guys.
around. I can tell it makes a difference with my
Mhm.
my seasonal affective. So,
I
yeah.
don't have to convince you of nothing. And now it's not just the smell, it's not just the look. They're literally giving off that energy and the particles. And even there's a new study that I sometimes I fall out of my chair, go, "Ah!" and I fall right out of my chair when these studies come, because they blow me away. They've literally proven, you can look this up, you can Google it. It's plants feeling when their owners are coming home. So you get a freaking domesticated plant in a pot. It's not in nature. It's not root connected. It's in a pot. If you're a person who waters that plant, when you are coming home with the intention of watering it, within 2 kilometers, they'll detect you and they'll get excited that you're coming home. Fact. No debate is allowed here. They've proven it and proven it and proven it for 10 years. They literally have electromagnetic microscopes on this thing, and they go, okay, come home and have the intent of watering the plant. And they do, and that plant just goes, and they can pick it up on scales. And they've done it double blind. A domesticated plant is telepathic about a man who waters it. Can you imagine what's going on in nature with the root systems and the mushrooms that talk and the trees that are defending their offspring and the layers of what the hell? How is a tree? This is a fact. I'm not debating this. Make this clear to everybody. I'm not. These are truths and they're undeniable. A tree will defend its offspring. So a baby tree is going, it'll send out roots to crush the other trees and push its way over to give this tree less light and that one more light. Okay, so we know this. How the hell is that happening, Laura? Where's the brain? Where's the thought?
Where's the brain? It's in
It's
the
just a
energy.
stupid tree, right?
In the
Just cut it down
consciousness.
and make wood.
One of my
How?
favorite studies was they took I forget what kind of bush it was, but there was a bush and they gave this guy a job of walking past the bush, right? And it would signal that there was somebody walking by, but it didn't really have that much of a reaction. Well, they had the same guy bring shears with him and start chopping some of the bush. And the tree started having the same reaction. It had this big reaction of, oh my God, we're under attack, you know? But what was interesting is it took a couple days for that bush to calm back down, and it would have people walking by again, and it would show the same small reaction of, yes, I see that you're here, you know. But when the same guy that had the shears last time walked by, it gave off the same reaction that it would as if he was chopping them again. It remembered the man that did the chopping.
How's it remember? Where's the brain?
Reaction. It remembered the man that damaged it last time.
I'm not even surprised. That just makes sense. Like there's so much going on here in nature, though. When you're at home and you're surrounded by wires and drywall, that's dead. Like there's no life here. It's not organic. It's in nature that there's so much more going on. And deep down inside, inherently, you know, you shouldn't even be surprised. You should know these truths exist. You should know that the plants and animals all have a real deep, beautiful thing that's going on with them. And I've seen layers, guys. It's just I could get woo on you that would just, you'd be like, oh man, this guy's crazy. But it's quantum is substantiating these truths with me now. And, you know, and all the people that I work with are up leveling so brilliantly. And it's really, you know, again, I go back to it. It's not just some primate that we're discovering. The Sasquatch know all this stuff. They live and breathe and thrive based on these things. They can't. Harry wouldn't want to go into a house. He would go up to the house. He'd put his foot on cement and go, no, because literally he'd go from all this vibrating life that gives into him and he's like symbiotic with to dead, cold. Like his body would vibrate differently stepping on cement. He would come into that house and all the magnetic fields of the wires and the lights and everything around, he would be like, ah, like he would lose it in his beautiful deep connection. So they won't go into a house. They're not going to be able to do that kind of stuff. And I already know these things because I can see how there's so much going on in nature. With all the plants and into the earth and into the soil. There's life in the soil, for God's sake, people. Like the layers that we know. And can you imagine in 1,000 years what we're going to know about nature and the reality of our connection to it? It's absolutely magnificent. And a big message again, I'll say, is we're going to make it. We're going to do okay. I'm talking to the people that are going to run things. I don't care where you're at in life. I don't care what level you think you are. If you're telepathic, if you can get on your frequency and figure out what you were made for and what your purpose is, which Laura was talking about, we all do, you get right on track with that and you will dominate. You don't have any choice. And I'm speaking to you because there are thousands of people that do Sasquatch research and I'm dominating. And I don't mean to be that way. It's just my nature. And I'm dominating, though, in the fact that, remember, if anybody calls me and says, hey, I want to do what you do, come on the next person, I'll train you right up. Hey, every video, here I am. Any Sasquatch researcher that wants to cooperate with me, I want it. Let's do it. And that's what makes me so powerful. I am the heavyweight champion of the world for Sasquatch, because if anybody finds a Sasquatch, I win. And if I find a Sasquatch, I win, and they exist. So I can't lose. There's no way. So and that works with everything you do. If you approach things with that kind of integrity, you just win no matter what. What a way to live. Like, what a brilliant clarity of mind. And I'm telling you, the Sasquatch taught me all this stuff. They made me the man that's standing here. Like, I'm literally channeling through them. They're proud of me right now because they feel me lighting all you people up. They can see it better than I can. All these lights going off, all this stuff that's happening. And they're so proud of me. They're going, you're doing such a good job, Todd. You're reaching them. You're getting these people we want to. Be inspired. Be a beautiful human. Bring your light up, and have a beautiful, thriving life. That's how we win.
Wow. Mic drop, Todd. That was perfect. Really. I love it. I love it so much. You've explained it so well today. I'm going to share your links today. We have the Patreon link for everybody. Make sure that you guys check it out. Todd's got a Patreon. For those of you who have never seen the documentary, it's a phenomenal documentary. In fact, when I watched it, I got so emotional. I messaged Todd. That's how we became friends. I just messaged him saying, I think your documentary is phenomenal. Let's chat. And you're always so warm and welcoming, Todd. And I just love that about you so much, that you will talk to absolutely anybody about this stuff.
Well, I get charged by 800-pound grizzly bears. You know, like black bears hunt and stalk me. Mountain lions want to kill me all the time. I'm not afraid to talk to people. Like, really? No, believe me. No, like this. I sleep out where there are real monsters that try to hunt me. I go to sleep at night and I wake up. What's that? There's a chipmunk. Oh, okay. Is a mountain lion gonna kill me? No. So, the fear factor comes down when you deal with just people, because you don't scare me. You don't have teeth and claws and you're literally gonna eat me, these bears. So you come back to civilization, you realize it's not that scary. These people that try to put on a big thing, and you don't scare me, because I saw the heavyweight champion of the world. He was a 600-pound grizzly bear that was trying to eat me last week, and we had a good talk, and we worked it out. So if I can work it out with him, I can work it out with you.
Oh, I love that.
But my Patreon, my Patreon, it's the $15 a month is a great one to get on. You're gonna get tons. Like, I'm giving away all these photographs and stuff. You take these photos. This is backwards. I'm having trouble showing this. So go like that. So you take these photos with staples. It's $2 to have them printed off on this beautiful paper. And, as many as you want. You can give these things away to your friends. You can put them all over your office. And every month I'm giving away 5 of them, like it's Jane, Kubota, video 6, video 8. And then I'm going to give my documentary. But what's super exciting about this is when I get 1,000, I'm so transparent, guys. I'm going to tell you like it is. When I get 1,000 Patreons follow me, which I can do, I have millions of views I get every month, hundreds of thousands of followers across all these different platforms. So if I just get 1,000 followers to come on board, what's going to happen is every time there's a Bigfoot encounter or a Bigfoot sighting, me or one of my trained expeditioners is going to come out there and investigate it. So we'll have like a Bigfoot investigation group that'll go out there and prove it's real, or call the guy on his fraudulent activity. But Sasquatch will get that coverage, that closure of people of integrity and honesty are going to be out there doing the research on this incredible species that needs to transpire. And beyond that, I mean, the stuff that we're doing every year, it's just, there'll literally be a whole fund for Sasquatch and the development and research of it, and the expansion of discovering Bigfoot research centers, because this is going to blow up. Joe Rogan's been talking about me for years. Like,
I mean, the government already knows they're real. The government is fully aware that they're real. It's just the mainstream media and the academic portion of our society that needs to catch up on
or completely ignorant about the reality of it, right? But this process is going on. The support at $15 a month is absolutely huge. If you want to do more, if you want to really get involved in stuff, talk to me and work that out. That's the $50 a month one. And that's for the hardcore people that are doing like seminars and stuff like that. Real people that are real researchers that are exploding to the next level. But it's so exciting to me that we'll have that, because the truth is, so all those TV shows call me. Like, there's Expedition Bigfoot. That was my show. I do the Bigfoot expeditions. The reason I didn't get to do that show with these incredible PhDs that I work with is we won't lie. So it's a very deceptive, dishonest show. It's got a budget for special effects and makeup, and that's just nightmare to me. Why would you do that? I'm out there getting real footage of Bigfoot. So in the television and even in the feature film industry, I can't work very well with these people because they really lack integrity, and I can't lie and I can't be dishonest. If I catch them cheating or lying, I'll expose them. Like, I have no tolerance for that horse manure. So my point is, we'll actually have a show that if I go out and nothing happens, then nothing happens. There's no Bigfoot here, and I go home. And if that show sucked, I'm sorry. But I'll talk about mushrooms. I'll talk about plants. I'll do some foraging. There'll be some cool stuff that happens. But I'm unafraid to do a real good, honest, integral show. And there'll be at least one episode. If I did 2 episodes a month, which I could really do with amazing, incredible people, there'd be at least one where there's something really significant going on. I'm going to be able to weed out the garbage really fast, and then get to areas where there's Sasquatch that want to communicate, that are trying to interact with people, and educate people. Because the first thing I tell people when I get out and I see someone's really having Sasquatch around, I forget about the Sasquatch. I focus on the person. Tell me about your life. Tell me about your family. Tell me about your children. Tell me about your nature. Why were you doing this with the trees? And what I find is this is such a beautiful person. And then the first thing that comes to my mind every time is I go, I know why the Sasquatch like you, because you're beautiful. And I have these guys, these big beard dudes, we being beautiful. Oh man, I think you are an incredible human being. Well, thanks, I guess, these Bushmen are all levels of people, but I can really see how they just love nature, and I can understand why the Sasquatch are reaching out to them, and then show them that this is a gift. This is not, they're not tormenting you. They're trying to talk to you because you're a light and you're amazing. And I'm going to be that conduit that helps this discovery process go forward. And the Sasquatch are very excited about this process. I just have to go through the energetic process of getting it all happening, which is happening right now, which, another reason I love to do this show. And we are doing, Laura, new things every freaking year, stuff that, like, I'm a brave dude. I'm doing stuff that's scaring me. Like, I'm taking next level things. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to really do that. Like, that's some crazy stuff. But the Sasquatch want me to be brave and to continue to push on with what we're doing. So if you're enthusiast, if you're like, I'm going to give you tons of content back with the Patreon, tons of stuff back. And it's fun. It's a really fun process. And it's not, again, it's not about a gorilla or a chimpanzee or a bonobo discovery. This is about a highly brilliant being. Like you're talking about, they talk to people in the stars. I've heard that too from the macaw people. They've when a spaceship would come to this planet, they're not here to talk to us. They're here to talk to those guys who've been already speaking to us. They actually have a name for them on this planet. They call these beings that are so powerfully, and they've been talking to them for, probably thousands of years. Like, I can't even, the time that I can show evidence where Sasquatch have been advanced over us, just simply with this.
Speaking of which, I'm going to share one of my favorite discussions about the Sasquatch genetics. Lloyd Pye's "Everything You Know Is Wrong." Brilliant, for discussion about their genetics.
Huge fan of it. Yeah, huge fan of Lloyd. And one thing what I tell people is, they go, well, are they indigenous here? Well, they're thriving naked with the bears and the deer and the elk. Can we do that? Nope. So who's the indigenous one, right? Who is really designed to live here? They are, not us. I can't see any evidence that shows them as being alien. Lloyd Powell will show you evidence of like, what the hell? Even everywhere through anthropology and science, is like a few thousand years ago, we just went, whoop, this major genetic blip happened. And now we're here going, why do we have all this part of our brain that we don't even know how to use? It's like we weren't even designed to live here. And then I have this new evidence these quantum physicists just showed me that, again, it's that falling out of the chair moment. Our DNA is 4.3 billion years old. It's not an argument anymore. We didn't evolve here. 4.3 billion years ago, there was no place to survive here. We are very aware of that with our planet. That's a fact. We didn't come from here. And I bet you the Sasquatch DNA will be more likely to show a lineage that is on this planet's timeline than us. And can you imagine if Lloyd Pyle knew that? He would fall right out of his chair, he'd do a backflip. I'm right. We didn't come from this planet. So
I'm pretty sure Lloyd, if Lloyd hadn't died from that very aggressive form of cancer, that I believe that he would have rewritten Darwinism. He debunked it. He completely did. I mean, in a flawless way. Like, I don't think anyone could have argued with his points against them, because they were just so brilliant.
But I wouldn't say debunked. I would say more like he just up leveled it. Like he took a theory and he
Mhm.
disproved it and proved another one. It's just like a stepping stone because I have so much
Yeah,
respect for that. Like that's what we do is we
I
prove and
know.
disprove things. This is the theory that works at the time, and then Lloyd goes after that theory, and then using that theory based on it disproves it, and
Yep.
then expand it to another level. So it's that I always give respect for Darwinism and what he had to do in
It's
the
just
time that he
it's
had
been
to say what he
used
did.
as a way of keeping people from asking important questions. It's like, well, it
Yes.
doesn't fit within the Darwinism scale, so it's got to be bullshit.
Mm.
That's
Right,
the where
right.
my frustration has run for a long time.
Absolutely.
And when I saw when I saw that documentary, not documentary, it's a more of a lecture, like a college
Mm,
lecture. I just shared
mm,
it in the link for you guys if you want to check it
mm,
out. And I know somebody just asked a question: are Yetis another race of Sasquatch that live in the
mm.
Himalayas? Yes, they
Yes.
are, and actually, that is discussed on Lloyd Pye's on his lecture because
Yeah.
there's a lot of different evidence that they are all kind of related, even though there are different types, and they're obviously, you get the smaller ones, you get the ones that tend
Yeah.
to live in the more, yeah,
They're
it's
all
different.
descendants of Gigantopithecus on different levels, right? So, but they're clearly that with China. I worked with Beijing University professors from China, and that's
Yeah,
where they have the Gigantopithecus fossils, and they have Yeti bones, and they've got all that going on. So they actually paid me to go get Sasquatch DNA, which was they paid me and somebody else, and the other guy beat me to it. And then when the results came back, and they're like, it's clearly the same species right down the chain from Giganto to Yeti to Sasquatch. And they actually taught me like it's like they have bears in China that are black bears, and you can
yeah,
clearly see the similarities with the differences. Our black bears, I mean, they look very similar, and they could actually breed together and produce viable offspring still, but they're clearly like a subspecies of one another. There's clear, definite differences in them,
yeah.
phenotypically, all through the physiology. But yeah, Yeti's 100%, and there's Yeren in Russia. So that's what's exciting about my cooperation too. Is I have somebody in China who wants to do a Discovering Bigfoot Research Center. I have I'm taking out somebody this year from Russia who wants to do a Discovering Bigfoot Research Center in Russia. So I'm really ready for
I
that
think
next. I don't really like. I grow slow and then just explode. I just rip up to the next
you're
level.
doing one of these.
Yeah, I explode. Like I go up hard. Something big is going to happen when I'm ready and when everything falls into place. And then I want to have 100 Discovering Bigfoot research centers all over the world. That's not going to be difficult. I could show you the numbers where people say, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, I actually have the numbers right now. I just need to settle into it because there's so many people. Like my expeditioners, you really have to manifest the hell out of getting on an expedition with me. Like Laura's a spoiled brat. She could just call me up and say, "Hey, I'd like to come." I'd put her in a cancellation spot. I'd work something out. I'd push people around. I'd get her in.
All right,
All
let's
the
do
other
it,
people
Todd. Let's
have
do it
been
then.
trying for like 5 years. Have been, I don't need to go to this, but I do anything. What can I do? I'm like, it's just not working out right now, because I literally have, so I
I
only
make
take out 33
excuses
people a
for it.
year. I have
I've been
50
making
previous
excuses out of fear,
expeditioners.
Todd, and I think my only fear is that I'm gonna slow you down. But I think
No, no, no,
if
it can't work that way.
you're okay with that, then let's
There,
do it.
there's only 3 people on the expedition. And I'm not going to pair you up with a Navy SEAL. You guys aren't going to get along, right?
All right,
And
cool. All right.
I actually have a special place for ladies now. So I have Ashley who's going to help me with the lady expedition. So I'm going to kind of be out there more like protecting and providing, and let the girls. I'll be out on the outskirts of the perimeter and just let the girls go be women and be
So
weird,
you're like this
feminine.
Sasquatch tribal leader, yeah? You're just gonna go to
For,
watch and make sure all
for,
the
for the
females
women
are fine.
expedition. Well, because I want you girls to be very feminine, and I want you to just, if you feel protected, you girls are so special, and I want them to just go out there and have that thing where when I go out with the guys, oh man, we have a blast. I like the guy. We just turn into men and we just do crazy stuff and fart jokes and all the stupid things that guys do. We don't drink, we don't do drugs, but we have a real camaraderie that's brilliant. And I was realizing, man, that the women expeditions are so different than the men ones, and
I
now
don't
I
know.
want to
I think
really.
I think I'm pretty masculine. I might get along better with the men than the women.
You wouldn't though. You really wouldn't, because so Ashley's like that too. Ashley thinks that she's very
Yeah.
fit, very strong. She thinks she gets along better with men, but when I put her with women that are like her, so you're with a woman that has that same frequency that you have, you guys
Yeah.
just you get giddy and you go run ice bathing naked and do the craziest stuff. And it's so
Okay, yeah,
beautiful to see
sure,
those
I bet.
flowers shining, right? So, because
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of women that you don't get along with because they're so ignorant and non-flowing. But if I put you out there with people that are on your frequency, and you girls are just gonna, I want you girls just lose your shit. Just go like, just
Awesome.
totally be, right? The way even a
Go
man
feral. I love
can,
it.
right? So it's very special, and I insist upon having that because the best primatologists of all world are Diane Fossey, Jane Goodall, Brigadigus, gorillas, orangutans, chimpanzees. They're the best ever. And for me to not have a feminine influence in this discovery process would be severely damaging. So I've got that covered.
Wonderful. Well, we've got a few people in the comments that are ready to go, right, Michelle? And a few others. Yeah, we're gonna go. So, Pensie's coming. Yeah, there's gonna be a bunch of ladies that are up for this. So let's get Ashley. We'll set up a plan, eh? Love that.
Absolutely, yeah. Just get in contact with me. We'll work it out. So,
All
and
right. I'll stop my
the way,
excuses stuff.
especially
Love to hang out with you.
especially all lady, I'd be very interested. I only have one all lady expedition this year. It's been hard. It's to get the girls to come out. It's a real process, and I find that they're it's just harder. The men are just like boom bang, and it's real easy. I can be difficult with the men. I literally interviewed like 15 women this year, and I got one out of those 15. So I was like, oh my god, I go back and do another 15 just to get one.
Just
And
hearing
with the
that makes
men,
me want to do it all the more now. I'm like, all right,
yeah,
challenge accepted. Let's do this.
with the men,
All
it's
right.
like 50-50. Like every second person I interview and talk to, they're in, they come out, we kill it, right? So, but I think with a woman taking that over, or with the help of women, even you don't understand, Laura. Like you come out here and when after you've experienced it and you are in the know of it, you won't be able to not propagate it. Maybe you can run expeditions. Maybe you could say, hey Todd, can I? I'd be like, yeah, like I'll handle the protection. You'll know the area, and I want to evolve because we're still young. Like I'm never gonna stop doing this. I'm gonna do this till I'm like nine. I in my last years of my life, a little old man, 97 years old, I'll have a headset on, and I'll be telling those youngsters, you gotta get out there, Sasquatch. I've been there doing it. You know what I mean? Like I'll just never ever stop. This is my life. I am a full-time Sasquatch researcher. This is all I do. Talk about Sasquatch, make films about Sasquatch, do expeditions for Sasquatch. This is all I do. I do nothing else.
Love it.
So the growth on this is, it can be so good. And actually, Laura, you're such a powerful person, man. Do you know who David Avocado Wolf is? You heard of him?
Oh, yes. I know him
Yeah.
personally. Yeah.
Oh, well, he's got his expedition this year. So
You're kidding.
last year,
David's gonna come out there too.
that son of a bitch came out on an expedition and saw a Sasquatch and schooled the hell out of me. So he's out. So first of all, I take my son once in a while. My son got to come out with David. Those two get along like peas and carrots. They're like old school. My 16-year-old son and 50-year-old David are just like, they're like besties. They read the same things. So
That's funny.
the Sasquatch separates me. So a bike breaks down. I tell David and my son, just go back to the camp. I'm pushing this bike up the hill. I'm going to be wild. They get up to the top of the hill and they're freezing and they're kind of freaking out. And I go, what the hell? And then my son comes running down. Dad, there's a Sasquatch up here. Get your ass. So I drop the bike and I cruise up there. Boom, there's a Sasquatch. And David, I'm going to call him, that son of a bitch is just like, what's up? What's up? So he sees a Sasquatch. He looks at it for like 5 minutes. Then he sees it again. And then afterwards, so normally every other time in my life, someone's seen a Sasquatch, there's this big change that goes on in them. They're like, oh, and my life is different. There's a change. David, nothing. I'm like, dude, what's your problem? He goes, let me tell you something, Todd. I knew they were out there. I knew I was going to see one. And I'm not shocked at all. I never saw anybody react like that. Like this man is so powerful. He's had interactions where he hasn't seen them. But when he saw it, it was just like going to Africa and you've seen pictures of elephants and you see an elephant and you know they're an elephant. I never saw anybody do that. And I so admire his react. Like you got to understand, I've taken out, it's actually 29 people that have seen a Sasquatch under my guidance. Like there's a Sasquatch. Oh my God, I clearly see it. And then we go look at the tracks and see the evidence beyond that. He's the only one, including myself, whoever saw one. It was just so like zen about it. Like, Todd, I came out here to see a Sasquatch. Why do you think I'm surprised? I saw one and I knew they were here. And the guy saw it on day one. On an expedition that went to hell. Like we were burned out by fires. We had to move it. I'm in a weird position. Doesn't matter. David comes out, sees the Sasquatch. So, but David now has his own expedition that he's doing. So he's going to come out to the ecology. He's going to guide people. So I'm the guide, but he's the host. You could do that, Laura, where you come out there to connect with nature, to be beautiful, and for people that are fans of yours to really see who Laura really is, right? Like really get to the root of you. And then you can start connecting people in your own beautiful ways, whether it's food or plants or whatever you want to do. Just have
I love
people come
that.
out there and up level. Go have a beautiful time. Like the wolf expedition is more about going to beautiful places and being zen and meditating and up leveling and plants and mushrooms and stuff that David loves, right? There'll be Sasquatch around, and David will probably see one again. And he'll just be like, hey, there's another one. And he'll probably say it too. Oh, I just saw another one. Right? But he doesn't do that. He doesn't go, whoa, a Sasquatch. He goes, there's a Sasquatch. Hi. I knew you were real. And he knew it. Like he knew it in his soul. He was just so not surprised. And I wanna meet more people like that would have that. You're not like that, Laura. You wouldn't do that.
That's probably how I'm
You
gonna be when I see an alien. Just be like, "Oh, hey, what's up, bro?"
yeah.
What's
Oh,
up?
I could see that because you knew, and
I know
So,
exactly. Yeah, but what's funny, Todd? I'm really picking up that you had a past life as one. I think that is part of your, your history of your soul. Is that
yeah,
I think you were a Sasquatch in a past life.
maybe. I know I have past memories having met Ashley and my children. These very important people in my life. Like when I first saw my daughter, I knew her, and I know her. Like this is not the first time we met. We have this deep. So same thing with my son. As soon as my son was born, like I'm a kind of a physical guy, and I wasn't so spiritual 16 years ago when I first met my son. But I knew him, and I had a deep connection from him, and I'm wise enough to understand this didn't just happen. Like this is meant to be. And so that's a beautiful thing about all this discovery process that you'll feel that way in nature when you can reconnect to your, I think they call it junk DNA. Actually, that's your
Yeah,
legitimate beautiful DNA. They've
our
besmirched the
dormant,
name of
turned
it.
off DNA.
Right.
Yeah,
Once you can ignite that back, you'll change in ways where you'll just never go back. You'll learn to be a light. You'll see things deeper. You'll understand things in a more brilliant way, and hopefully get so addicted to it that you just keep coming back, and not even coming back with me, keep getting out there. Go be in Oregon, go be in California, go be in Florida, wherever you live. Go back there, connect to nature, and if you still need guidance from me, all these people, like it's so goddamn personal. You have no idea. Like I'm just gonna be so transparent with my life. I like when people come and stay at my house, meet my children who are so important to me. And if I have problems, I'll talk about it. I'll be like, I have this and I have that. And then people are like, wow, you're really like transparent. And I have to be that way because then if I'm not, I'm being dishonest. And I want people to open up in ways they never thought possible. And that way, that's again, a Sasquatch can get a read on you. And then if you're not hearing them well enough or you're not understanding what they're communicating, they'll push it to me and then I'll verbalize it to you. And then we can all, you understand how this just up levels humanity like
Mhm.
so much. It's so important, this discovery process. It's the discovery of Bigfoot. And I kind of smile when I say that because it's not what you think though. It's really once you start coming down this rabbit hole, you'll realize these are incredible beings that we have so much to learn from. Laura, I have never found a thing good that I could teach a Sasquatch, right? It's like if I'm teaching about humanity, yeah, we do that. Oh God, I'm sorry. It's never, it's never, hey, there's this great thing I could teach you about positivity, but from Marcus Aurelius, it's like, no, they're so beyond that. And so I've just settled into my role as a conduit and a teacher to what my masters are expressing to you. And that's a real difference in the kind of research that I am. I have never heard anybody, people go out there to verse them or to teach them things or even protecting them, Laura. It's not, I don't have to protect these guys anymore. They protect me. I'm literally still alive because on a half a dozen occasions I should be dead as disco. I made mistakes. They literally saved my dumbass so many times, and they've kept me alive because I'm special and I have a job to do and a goal, and so many lessons to learn and to propagate to people. And so do all of you. All of you are so brilliant. You're so special. You have so much inside of you. And the only way you can truly ever express that is to get out to nature. It's real, guys. Grounding is a scientific fact. You know, the reality of what Laura's teaching with those flowers, that stuff is legit real. Like she knows it in her soul. Look at those flowers are lighting her up. The energy is all over the room. And it's so spiritual. It doesn't matter if you're a Buddhist or a Muslim or a Christian or agnostic, whatever. Expand and grow, blow it up. It's almost like a new an addition to your spirituality. You must add nature to it. You cannot. Is there any other way, Laura, that you could express yourself spiritually more than going into nature?
No, I mean, to be honest, Todd, like I when I say I express myself,
You're not
I
playing.
do a lot.
Yeah. Good for you.
You know,
And
we need that nature
even
around us as much as possible.
even those domesticated flowers that are, you know, not wild and they're grown in they're still beautiful and they still have that purpose. It's awesome that we couldn't take that out of them. And I admire that about the plant. We should admire trees and plants and the little animals that are so brilliant and part of a wonderful, thriving ecology of balance that just has been provided by nature. That is absolutely awesome. When you really get the big picture of it, when you really start seeing what's going on, all the stuff that the Sasquatch are trying to teach me, I'm very like level 1 with you guys. The stuff that the Sasquatch are teaching me right now, that's so important. It's like level 2, level 3, level 4. It's really amazing. It all has to do with these fundamentals that I'm giving you right now.
For
You spend a
guys,
week with me in the wilderness, I will never stop teaching you. All week, ask questions, it'll never stop. 7 days, 7 nights, 24. Like you can ask me, wake me up in the night. Oh, what's up? Sleeping, because we sleep in the same trailer. I have this question. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's ask it. Right? It just never stops. There's so much.
Beautifully said, Todd. I'm going to share your Patreon link for everybody one more time so that way they can join your Patreon. Highly recommend it. Also, you know, just for those of you who might be interested in going out and getting feral with Todd and I, please let me know, because I would totally love to set up a plan for this in the future. What about kids? How young do you take someone that's out there? How young would you go?
I'm very protective. Like my girl is 6 and I'm really armed to the teeth and protective of her. Like my protection instinct goes through the roof. She's a girl and she's 6. So on professional expeditions, like 14 is like my minimum. And you really have to convince me of a 14-year-old. Ideally, I like to take adults out. So, and that age gap between like 18 to 25, it's very rare I get that age group, because this is the mainly indoctrinated TikTok, you know, staring at the short videos group. But yeah, I don't like to do below, you know, 16, 14 is pretty young.
That's good.
So
Aiden's got some time before I drag him out there with us.
Yeah. Well, you have so much, Laura. You have so much. You're people that can identify with Laura and feel her and follow her because she's like a kindred to them. People like you shut the front door. Like the level you'll go up, like you will literally get teary-eyed, you will explode, you will expand, you will literally do a water ritual, and you will get that you'll look around and go, what just happened? How come I can feel the trees? And you walk barefoot and suddenly the earth is connecting you. What is happening? Goosebumps set in. You just like, whoa. It's that simple. Yeah, it's that simple because it's in your DNA. It doesn't take me much to wake up people like you. There are people that are stubborn and difficult, and they're in that paradigm and they have so much to shift out of it. You, Laura, you should be terrified to come out there, because you are gonna just like explode with it's overwhelming. It's like, oh, it's alive. The trees are talking, the earth is talking, the ground is talking, the soil, the butterflies are trying to say something to me, and they're all around me, right? So the dragonflies
trying to activate all kinds of stuff here, so that would be great. Let's do it.
It's the layers that happen are just I love dragonflies, and they talk to me and do things for me.
Those
all
are my
the
favorite.
time. They are amazing. And people will see it. I'll be like, you know, hey, this dragonfly is pretty cool. And, blah, 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 and I say something, and then boom, he just ends up on my shoulder. He's looking at me, he's hanging out. It's like, wow. I'm more of a dragonfly guy than a butterfly guy.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite insect is a dragonfly.
They're incredible.
Dragonflies and lightning bugs are my 2 favorite in the whole place. So there you go.
Yeah,
we want both.
It's a lot, and I would really, even if it's something that doesn't resonate, because the most of you can't do an expedition with me anytime soon, get back out to nature, find out about grounding, eat some good nutritious food. Like when you eat good organic food, you're actually voting with your dollars to support organic farmers. If we all just shift that way, all that chemical crap dies. You can't order that. You can't have it anymore. It rots. And if we can just fight for that shift, fight for that better organic good farmer who is, it probably actually cares about his carrots and his broccoli and loves his cows because it's grass fed. Like all these little changes are so freaking important. You got to fight for a better world for us. Otherwise, you're supporting the negativity, the chemicals, the harshness, the making money over humanity, the greed. Don't do it. And it's all part of the process that I work with. So please, like, up level, do it, get, change, make that change, and take care of yourself. I really care, and nature cares, and nobody cares more than Laura. She's got that feminine, mothering, nurturing. She really cares, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Right?
Yeah.
Really,
Yep.
really, you do. So sincerely, and I feel that about you.
Thank
So
you, Todd.
and that's why I would love to work with you. You're afraid to see a Sasquatch. I can actually see it right now. They're gonna have to be.
I'm not afraid. I'm
intimidated.
intimidated. There's a difference. I have a very great deal of
Agreed.
respect and love and admiration for them, but I know that
Yeah.
they could break me like a little tinny skinny twig, like if they
Yeah.
wanted
And
to. So that's where they,
you have to surrender. No, you think they couldn't break me like a twig? You get to the point where you just surrender. When there's a Sasquatch around, I disarm myself. No bear spray, no guns. I disarm and I walk over to them. Because if they're going to do something, they're going to do it. The gun's going to do nothing. It's actually a very symbolic thing they respect, where they own the area and they come in and I go, okay, they're here. And people go, why are you putting down the gun? Because there's no point. If they're going to if they like Laura, they're going to latch on you and breed with you and have babies with you. I can't do a damn thing about it.
Okay, so there's the caution. There's the intimidation again.
Right.
Yeah.
But that has never happened, and I don't deal with Sasquatch. It was just a joke. I don't mean to intimidate.
No. I'm laughing because of Lloyd Pye's discussion. If you remember the hybrids in Russia that he was talking about, like it's not unheard of.
No, it's a fact in the DNA. In the DNA, we can see that 9 times a human being has bred back in the population, and the DNA is still there 9 times. So it's not a debate. These are facts. They have bred with people and produced viable offspring that bred back into the population. So yeah, but I don't like talking.
They were also genetically sterile, kind of like how ligers and mules are, which is interesting. So it also shows 2 genetically similar yet different species. Like
these offspring bred back in the population, though. They did. So it wasn't genetic sterility.
So I guess it depends on the genetics. You share Lloyd's link again. I'm going to share all 3 links again because you guys are going to love this. This is the Lloyd Pye discussion about the Sasquatch genetics and about their history. I'm going to share the Patreon link for Todd. Make sure that you guys join up the Patreon, especially if you guys are interested in joining us for an expedition. I would absolutely love that. I literally have been talking with Todd about this for like 5 or 6 years, so I need to shit or get off the pot, as they say.
Yeah, that's very profane of you. It's very masculine of you to say that.
That's what I said. I can balance for both groups, hey? Love it. And I'm going to make sure that you guys check out his documentary, Discovering Bigfoot. Phenomenal documentary. I watched it on Netflix, and that's why I've been basically obsessed with Todd ever since. I absolutely love you, Todd. I'm so glad that you were able to join me for this chat today.
Yeah, I don't know where you can get the movie right now. It's distributed, and it was like 2018. It was #1 on Netflix. It's still getting distributed, but I think it's blocked. I think it's blocked in the U.S., isn't it? Someone from the U.S. called me yesterday because I can't see it.
No, it's working for me.
Okay, awesome. I was very scared to
let me know, you guys, and I can help you out with a VPN so you can watch it.
Yeah, you should really enjoy it. There's multiple Bigfoot videos in it, and everything that happened in that documentary is real. Because even though Jeff Meldrum and John Benedict, who are PhDs, they watched it after I did it before I put it out there, and they agreed with everything I did. That is actually the way it happened, and it has to be that way with them because they're PhDs. If I lie, if I do film tricks to make things look different, I'm damaging their reputation. They would never tolerate that.
I agree.
So
I appreciate
what you're watching is an honest to truth documentary of exactly how it happened. No special effects, no filmography tricks. That is real. And people get jaded because there's so many fake documentaries out there, but it's not the case with that movie.
No, wonderful. See, there's a couple people. I just want to highlight Matt's comment there so you can read it. Longtime fan from your YouTube channel, Todd. So good to see you today.
Yeah,
Matt is a
thanks
fellow
for your support,
Canadian.
Matt.
Respect. Yes.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, I get so much support, so many good people. It's just amazing to be on this journey because it's hard at times, but the people and the support that I get makes it so much easier. And I know what I'm doing is so freaking important. And unfortunately, it's fallen onto me to do certain things that are getting done. And I've just accepted that destiny. And all people should do that. Really find what your purpose is. And then when you do, really push it and be brave and break paradigms, you're making the world a better place. For whatever instrument you're playing in our beautiful orchestra, you have to do that. You have a responsibility to do that. And I'm sitting here as a man in front of you saying it was hard to do this, to be where I'm at. No one's ever been a full-time Sasquatch researcher, ever. And there's so many, I can sit here and tell you no one's ever done this. There's 1,000 things that I've done. And I'm just at the beginning of my journey. It's the tip of the iceberg. My journey is exponential, and you'll find the same thing with you. I went from 2 times 2 is 4. Now I'm 4 times 4 is 16. I don't know what 16 times 16 is, but I'm going to get there. That's my exponential journey. And it should reflect in all of you. You all have something to do like that. You matter. And I'm talking to myself, I'm talking to you. Go get your ass in gear. Go kick some ass. Go do what you're meant to do. Go shine, because the world needs that. You have a responsibility to this beautiful planet to go shine your bright light, be as human as you can be. And Laura does it. I do it. You go do it. And I don't want to hear your excuses. Laura will be nurturing and nice to you, and I'm going to be the go get your ass in gear. I don't want to hear excuses. You get that done, right? So you got both levels right here. So you're in good hands.
I love your pro wrestler voice, by the way. That was great.
Randy Macho Man Savage. Thank you.
We're gonna have a great time hanging out. I'm looking forward to it, Todd. Thank you so much.
Good.
And
okay,
thank
we'll
you to everybody who joined us. It was a wonderful to have you all with us today. We had over 100 people watching, Todd. It was great.
Fantastic.
So, wonderful. I love you all. Thank you so much. Make sure that you check out Todd's link on Patreon and his documentary, and we will have Todd back on sometime soon. Thank you, everybody. See you guys soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.